To audit the security of any system, you must adopt the mindset of an attacker. Today, we are going to break into a system using two distinct attack vectors: cracking static files offline and brute forcing a live web portal online. We will execute these attacks using two specialized tools. First, we'll use John the Ripper to crack stolen data offline. Then, we will deploy Hydra to aggressively force our way through a live web application's front door. To follow along with this process, you will need a few things set up: a Kali Linux environment, a target file containing hashed passwords, a text file for your word list, and a locally hosted web application. You must restrict these techniques strictly to authorized, controlled environments. Running these tools against servers or applications you do not own is illegal. Anyone can download security software, but running it without understanding authentication mechanics leaves you blind to how actual network threats operate. We need to look at how the locks actually work before we break them. Step 1 is understanding our target. Modern systems rarely store passwords in plain text because a single database breach would immediately expose every user's credentials. This diagram shows how a cryptographic hash works. When a user creates a password, the system feeds that plain text string into an algorithm, which spits out a scrambled string of alphanumeric characters with a fixed length. This is a one-way digital fingerprint. The system stores this fingerprint, not the password. Notice how these three pathways process the exact same password differently. Legacy algorithms like MD5 compute instantly, which makes them highly vulnerable. Modern standards like SHA-256 take slightly more effort, while algorithms like bcrypt are intentionally sluggish, designed specifically to resist high-speed guessing attacks. Because a hash cannot be mathematically reversed back into plaintext, an attacker has to work offline. They generate a guess, hash that guess using the exact same algorithm the database used, and check if their generated hash matches the stolen hash. If the two alphanumeric strings are a perfect match, the vault doors swing open. They have successfully found the original password. Offline password cracking relies entirely on processing speed and the predictable nature of human behavior. You do not need to break complex math. You just need to guess faster than the system was designed to handle. To execute this offline attack, we turn to John the Ripper. This is our primary tool for quickly auditing captured hash files. On the left side of this screen, you see a word list. Instead of guessing random letters, a dictionary attack feeds a massive list of previously breached real-world passwords into the testing tool. The most famous of these is rocku.txt, a file containing millions of highly probable passwords. To launch the attack, we type John, use the -word list flag to point to our text file, and then specify our target file containing the stolen hashes. You must tell the program exactly what mathematical algorithm it is looking at. By adding the flag -format equals raw MD5, we prevent the tool from wasting time guessing the format and ensure immediate accuracy. Once you hit enter, John the Ripper processes the word list, hashes every line, and checks for a match. When it finds one, it immediately prints the plain text password right next to the target username in your terminal. People reuse simple words and append basic numbers. That specific human behavior makes massive word list attacks an incredibly efficient first strike in any security audit. But what happens when a target follows best practices and their password is a complex string of random characters that isn't in any dictionary file? For that, we use John the Ripper's incremental mode. This abandons the word list entirely and tests every possible combination of letters, numbers, and symbols. The command syntax is merely identical to our previous run, but instead of calling a specific word list, we use the -- incremental flag. This graph plots password length against the time required to crack it. Adding just 1 or 2 characters multiplies the required combinations exponentially. If you try to brute force a complex password past 8 characters on a standard computer, the processing time spikes from hours into centuries. Always use a short test password to avoid locking up your hardware. If the target is short enough, the terminal systematically cycles through the character sets until it locks onto the correct string, printing the completely random password to your screen. Pure brute force guarantees you will eventually find the password. However, computational power and the absolute limits of time serve as the defender's ultimate shield. Now we transition from attacking static files stored on our own machine to aggressively hitting a live, interactive web portal over a network. For this attack, we switch to Hydra. Hydra is specifically built to throw pairs of usernames and passwords at a live network service as fast as the connection allows. By default, Hydra doesn't know where to type the credentials. We have to manually map the exact hidden parameters of the target's web form before the tool can execute. Look at this browser console overlay. To map the form, we right-click the login boxes and select Inspect Element. In the highlighted fields, we locate the specific HTML name attributes for the inputs, in this case, uname for the username and pass for the password. Next, we intentionally type a wrong password and hit Login. We need to copy the exact text of the site's failure message, like login failed, so Hydra knows what a rejected attempt looks like. Here is how we assemble the exact Hydra command. We combine our username list, our password list, the target server's IP address, the form parameters we just mapped, and finally, that specific error message. When we execute the command, Hydra rapidly fires HTTP post requests at the server. It tests combinations until the server response doesn't contain that error message, at which point Hydra halts and displays the valid login. Online brute forcing differs significantly from offline cracking. Generating thousands of login requests creates massive network noise, making attackers highly visible in the server logs. You have now successfully executed an offline dictionary attack to decrypt a hash and mapped a live web form to brute force a portal over a network. To defend against offline attacks, systems require strict password complexity rules to defeat word lists, and they must implement cryptographic salting to ensure that even identical passwords generate completely unique hashes. This architectural model illustrates how to stall an online attack. By configuring account lockouts after 3 failed attempts, applying strict rate limiting, and mandating multi-factor authentication, you render automated tools like Hydra entirely ineffective. An auditor's value is not found simply in breaking the locks. The value lies in proving exactly where those systems are fragile, so the organization can build an unbreakable vault.